And this is section number 2. The time to beat 9:44.86. We have Dubuque Waller, who was 7th in this year's Drake Relays. Bishop Heelan, who was 7th in this state meet last year. Assumption, Drake Relays champion. Fort Madison, last year's state runner-up with all 4 members back running here today. They are the 3A leader at 9:37.33. Assumption's the overall state leader at 9:20.49. That's Assumption and Fort Madison out in front. Decorah is right there. Decorah was 6th a year ago. Vinton Shellsburg's in the field. Denison Schleswig, ADM Adel, Humboldt, Central DeWitt. They were 5th last year, all 4 members back. North Polk and Mount Vernon. 2A champion, they have 2 members back here today.
But it's not by the finish.
Assumption and Fort Madison out front. Assumption has Mallory King on the lead leg. King ran the 400 on their distance medley that set the all-time best record earlier this year, running under 4 minutes. Well, Assumption and Fort Madison. Fort Madison with Brett Schneider. And Assumption now with Sarah Adams. 2:17.7 on the opener for Mallory King of Assumption. Fort Madison with Allison Sporkman. 2:18.8 on that opener for Schneider of Fort Madison. Dubuque Waller into 3rd with Kelly Bogey. That is Assumption out in front. Davenport Assumption. They were 3rd at last year's state meet. They won this year's Drake Relays. They got a good opener from King. They're now running Sarah Adams. Assumption running 2 sophomores and 2 seniors. Fort Madison with Sporkman. And Assumption. Assumption and Fort Madison. Waller and Vinton Shellsburg. ADM Adel with freshman Sadie Jurgens on this leg. Sarah Adams running for Assumption. Fort Madison getting a good carry from Sporkman. It's Assumption out in front. It's Assumption and Fort Madison. Assumption and Fort Madison. Dubuque Waller. Vinton Shellsburg. And we're going to the 3rd leg here, and it's Assumption with sophomore Grace Rohlf. Howardson, another sophomore running for Fort Madison. And it's Dubuque Waller. Romagna running this 3rd leg for Dubuque Waller. Vinton Shellsburg with Schmidt. ADM Adel with Mueller. That is Assumption out in front. Assumption and Fort Madison. Assumption and Fort Madison. Assumption out in front, and Dubuque Waller. Jade Romagna giving them an outstanding carry, and they are challenging now, moving into second. Fort Madison running third. .200 meters to go on this third leg. That is Assumption and Dubuque Waller. Waller was 7th at Drake. Romagna on that quartet. Here comes your leader, Davenport Assumption. They'll have Julia Schumacher, the state cross-country champion, on their anchor leg. Fort Madison will have their all-stater, Sarah Steffensmeyer. Waller will counter with Kaylee Osterberger. Schumacher with the stick. 2:23.5 on that carry for Rohlf of Assumption. 2:21.1 for Romagna of Waller. It's Assumption, Fort Madison, and Dubuque Waller on the backstretch. Past the scoreboard goes your leader, Davenport Assumption, with Julia Schumacher. She was third in the 3,000 earlier today. She won the state cross-country meet. Julia Schumacher, the sophomore from Davenport Assumption. Fort Madison with Sarah Steffensmeyer. She was on that runner-up quartet from a year ago. Dubuque Waller with Kaylee Osterberger. 400 to go. Assumption and Fort Madison. Assumption, third last year. Fort Madison was the runner-up a year ago. And they're in a battle as they move to the backstretch. Assumption and Fort Madison, 9:44.86 is the time to beat. Assumption, our overall state leader at 9:20.49. Davenport Assumption and Fort Madison with 200 to go. Davenport Assumption, the state meet record 9:17.72. They have the state leading time at 9:20.49. How about it, front stretch? It's Assumption and Fort Madison. Schumacher and Steffensmeyer. Davenport Assumption. Last year's third place finisher. They win the Drake Relays, and now they win the 3A state title. 9:22.20 for Davenport Assumption. 2:18.6 for Schumacher. 2:20.4 for Steffensmeyer.
Oh, they got 10.
Carried out.
They got 10. Well, they're in the pizza.
9:22.20 for Assumption, and that is their first ever state title in the 4x800. Davenport Assumption.